But first to a WION exclusive. The Swiss bank whistleblower Rudolph Elmer says he knows the names of the Indians who have Swiss bank accounts. As an introduction to Elmer, we can tell you that he has been fighting a long legal battle against the tradition of Swiss banking secrecy. In fact, he ran the Caribbean operations of the Swiss bank Julius Baer for 8 years before being dismissed back in 2002. He has now turned whistleblower and has helped expose the system that has helped the world's rich and corrupt evade billions of dollars in taxes. We spoke with Rudolph Elmer on the information that he is privy to and if the changes had taken place in the decade and a half since he left Julius Baer. Here's what he said.
Yes, there are some changes in the sense of that we talk about the issue and it's addressed, but it's at this point in time, it's more about talk and not walk your talk. Really taking actions against tax evasion and even worse, in my view, is not happening yet.
So why exactly are we not seeing significant progress when there's even more data than ever before that shows how the global financial system has failed to limit to a reasonable level the tax evasion and, of course, money laundering and so on?
In my view, what I've seen in Europe, they're very reluctant to invest into tax investigators to in the sense of making jobs for them. If someone commits tax evasion or assists on tax evasion, that person is not really punished in a serious way. For instance, we just had a case half a year ago where a banker was involved in tax evasion and he had to pay a fine of 1,000 Swisses. Now, basically what it is, it's a matter of business costs, what's going on from a banking point of view, but also from a tax evaders point of view. It's not that big issue for them, so the risk is not that high. I just read today about the Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, who was disqualified in Parliament, that he is not more eligible to be an honest member of Parliament because of his offshore assets of his family. So this is an action which needs to be taken. That this punishment is going to be serious, and we are not talking about individuals. We're talking also about multinationals. We talk about the big four audit companies. They are still support and do their tax advices to multinationals. On the other hand, they perform the audits, and they are well aware of the fact that there is materially profit shifting from one to the other countries, but nothing really happens because they do not have the task to report such a profit shifting from one to the other countries.
So the Supreme Court verdict comes out in less than 3 months. If indeed it does go in your favor, does that mean that you will go ahead and release some of that data to the Indian government?
Actually, I'm looking forward to it because at this point in time, it's not anymore a case about me. It's about a case of Swiss bank secrecy in the sense of, because I did not have a Swiss employment contract, so it's a question of the federal court has to make a decision if Swiss bank secrecy can be applied extraterritorially to the Cayman Islands or even in a kind of imperialistic way. So it's going to be a political decision which the Federal Court of Switzerland has to take, which I'm looking forward to it. I'm positive, but you never know, because we're talking here about the money-making machine of Switzerland. If they rule not in my favor, they protect the money-making machine with a political decision. That's the way I'm looking at it. And that sort of thing has to be made public, and actually I will take the case to the European Court of Human Rights or wherever I need to go, because I don't think it's right. The question at this point in time is that as long as my case is ongoing, they still can put me to prison. Once my case is decided at the federal court that I can't be prosecuted under Swiss bank secrecy, which I think is very likely, then I can release the case. Otherwise, I still have to risk that they come and do another house search and take me to prison again.
But on that list of names, what exactly do you have? What percentage are Indian clients, and are there politicians on that list? Are there businessmen? What all details can you share with us?
It's about 20. We're talking politicians, high net worth individuals, people who live an international business life, basically.
Also, the automatic exchange of information is what everybody seems to be talking about right now, at least for the last 3 years. India and Switzerland signed an agreement last year that will kick in from 2019. What's your take on that?
So 2019, what's going to happen really is that the person who holds, let's say, 20 or 50,000 Swisses in Switzerland has opened the account in his name, that he runs the risk to be discovered. But it's, in my view, a small risk, because there is an extreme data flow going to happen in 2009. And if the tax authorities do not have the resources to handle that volume, and I'm pretty sure the politician will make sure that tax authorities do not get the resources to keep the thing on, on a very low line, not to put it in the spotlight. It's going to be a small thing, because tax authorities only have a few tax investigators who can handle so much of issues, and that's it.
All right, authorities and bankers have called this the death of Swiss banking secrecy, but critics say that it's really not enough and perhaps a little too late. What are your thoughts on that?
Bank secrecy is still alive. In Switzerland, hardly any banker will speak up, because they know what happened to me and my family. So it's going on. There is also an initiative on its way to make Swiss bank secrecy part of the, how we call it in the English term is the constitution. So it's going to be a new bank secrecy, as the CEO of the UBS nicely told it in the Swiss documentary, Offshore and Swiss Bank Secrecy. When he was asked about the Swiss bank secrecy, he said, we have to reinvent Swiss bank secrecy in a way that it fits in today's environment. So it's still going on.
All right, lastly, if I can ask you, the Americans were able to sanction Switzerland due to that monopoly of the US dollar. Can India exert the same kind of pressure, perhaps with less leverage?
In my view, yes, I'm convinced about it, because India is a big market. It's from the banking world as well. So if the banks don't have any license, let's say in the UBS or Credit Suisse, to do business in India, it's a big issue for those banks. So you can revoke the license. You even could make pressure on the business in general, because with Switzerland, because you got Nestle, you got Russia, and so on, and Swiss Parliament, they have to make sure that they can make business with the world. And if the Indian government, or let's call it even the BRICS country, because India is part of the BRICS country, if they can make the certain pressure on Switzerland or on any offshore jurisdiction.
All right, so lots of information, but perhaps not the exact ones that audiences here in India are hopeful for. Let's see if that changes in the next 3 months once that case is resolved by the Supreme Court.